My jealousy towards my sister was compounded when my boyfriend admitted he finds her prettier than me. Growing up in our family was like living in two different worlds under the same roof. Our house, a modest two-story home on the outskirts of a bustling city, was filled with the sounds of laughter, chatter, and the occasional sibling squabble. My parents, hardworking and loving, always did their best to provide for us. My father, an engineer, spent long hours at the office, while my mother, a nurse, often worked night shifts at the local hospital. Despite their busy schedules, they made time for family dinners, weekend outings, and holidays filled with warmth and joy. My name is Lily, and I am 24 years old. My sister Emma is 2 years older than me. From a young age, it was clear that Emma and I were different in many ways. Emma was the kind of child who turned heads wherever she went. With her tall, slender frame, cascading golden hair and striking blue eyes, she could easily have been a child model. Her beauty was undeniable and magnetic, drawing attention and admiration from everyone she encountered. Even as a toddler, people would stop my mother in the grocery store to comment on how beautiful Emma was. I, on the other hand, was often described as cute. I had a petite build, with curly brown hair that refused to be tamed and wide, hazel eyes. While Emma's beauty was the kind that commanded attention, mine was more subdued, often overlooked in the shadow of her radiance. I didn't mind at first. I loved Emma dearly and took pride in her beauty and charm. Emma was outgoing, confident, and charismatic. She made friends easily and was always the center of attention at school and social gatherings. Her laughter was infectious and her energy seemed boundless. Emma had a natural talent for making people feel special, and she thrived in social situations. I was more introverted and reserved. I enjoyed spending time with a close-knit group of friends and preferred quiet activities like reading, drawing, and exploring the outdoors. While Emma dazzled others with her charm, I found joy in the small, simple moments of life. I was content to observe and listen, often playing the role of the supportive sister who stood in the background, cheering Emma on from the sidelines. Despite our differences, Emma and I shared a close bond during our early childhood years. We would spend hours playing in the backyard, creating imaginary worlds and embarking on grand adventures. Emma was always the leader, inventing elaborate storylines and assigning roles, while I happily followed along, adding my own touches to our fantastical tales. Our parents did their best to treat us equally, showering us with love and support. However, as we grew older, the differences in how people perceived us became more pronounced. At family gatherings, relatives would gush over Emma's beauty, often overlooking me in their admiration. Teachers at school would comment on Emma's potential to become a model or actress, while my achievements in academics and art were noted but not celebrated with the same enthusiasm. One of my earliest memories of feeling overshadowed by Emma's beauty occurred when I was 6 years old. It was Emma's 8th birthday, and our parents had thrown a big party to celebrate. The house was filled with family and friends, laughter and music echoing through the rooms. Emma wore a beautiful pink dress with a matching bow in her hair, looking like a princess from a fairy tale. I wore a simple blue dress, feeling pretty but plain next to Emma's dazzling appearance. As the guests arrived, they flocked to Emma, showering her with compliments and gifts. "You look like a little princess, Emma," they would exclaim. "You're going to break so many hearts when you grow up." Meanwhile, I stood nearby, smiling politely, waiting for someone to notice me. A few guests did, offering kind but brief comments like, "Lily, you look cute too." But the focus was always on Emma. I remember feeling a pang of jealousy that day, a confusing and unwelcome emotion that I didn't fully understand at the time. I loved Emma and wanted her to be happy, but I couldn't help but feel invisible in her shadow. It was a feeling that would follow me throughout my childhood and into my teenage years, growing stronger with each passing year. Family outings were another reminder of the differences in how we were perceived. Whether we were at the park, the zoo, or on a beach vacation, Emma always drew admiring glances and comments from strangers. "What a beautiful child," they would say to my parents. "She should be in movies." My parents would smile proudly and thank them, while I stood quietly by their side, wishing for a fraction of the attention Emma received. The first day of elementary school was a milestone for both Emma and me. Emma, with her natural charisma and stunning looks, was immediately popular. She made friends effortlessly, her laughter and charm drawing others to her like a magnet. I admired her ability to connect with people and often found myself standing quietly by her side, watching as she navigated the social landscape with ease. Emma's popularity grew quickly. She was invited to every birthday party, chosen first for group activities, and always had someone to sit with at lunch. I, on the other hand, struggled to fit in. Making friends didn't come naturally to me. I was shy, preferring the company of a good book to the noise of the playground. While Emma thrived in the social environment of school, I often felt like an outsider looking in. In the classroom, the differences between us were equally apparent. Teachers adored Emma. They praised her participation, her enthusiasm, and her ability to brighten the room with her presence. "Emma, you're such a delight," they would say. "Your smile just lights up the classroom." I couldn't help but notice that their praise for me was more subdued. "Lily, you did well on your spelling test," they would say, their tone lacking the same warmth and excitement. As the school year progressed, several significant events highlighted the growing gap between Emma and me. One such event was the annual school talent show. Emma decided to perform a dance routine, and she practiced diligently every day after school. Our parents were thrilled and supportive, attending every practice session and offering words of encouragement. When the night of the talent show arrived, the auditorium was packed with students, parents, and teachers. Emma took the stage in a sparkling costume, her confidence radiating through the room. She performed flawlessly, her movements graceful and captivating. The audience erupted in applause, and I felt a surge of pride for my sister. But as the cheers grew louder, so did the pang of jealousy in my heart. Later that evening, as we gathered in the school gymnasium for refreshments, Emma was surrounded by admirers. "Emma, you were amazing. You should be a professional dancer." The compliments flowed freely, and I watched from the sidelines, feeling small and insignificant. No one seemed to notice my presence, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being overshadowed. One particular family gathering stands out in my memory. It was Thanksgiving, and our house was filled with the delicious aroma of roasted turkey and pumpkin pie. Relatives had traveled from near and far to join us, and the dining room buzzed with conversation and laughter. Emma, dressed in a stylish outfit that accentuated her beauty, was the center of attention as usual. As we gathered around the dinner table, our Aunt Margaret turned to Emma and said, "Emma, darling, you're looking more stunning than ever. You should be on the cover of a magazine." Everyone nodded in agreement, their eyes fixed on Emma. I felt a familiar knot tighten in my stomach. "And Lily, how are you doing in school?" Aunt Margaret added, almost as an afterthought. I forced a smile and replied, "I'm doing well, thank you." But the words felt hollow, and the conversation quickly shifted back to Emma. As the evening wore on, I found myself retreating to a quiet corner, unable to shake the growing sense of jealousy and inadequacy. The school year was filled with events where Emma shone brightly, further highlighting the differences between us. One such event was the school's Spring Fling, a day of fun activities, games, and performances. Emma was chosen to be the lead in the school play, a fairy tale princess who saved the day with her bravery and beauty. She rehearsed her lines with enthusiasm, and our parents couldn't have been prouder. On the day of the Spring Fling, the entire school gathered in the auditorium to watch the play. Emma's performance was, as expected, flawless. She captivated the audience with her charm and grace, earning a standing ovation. I watched from the audience, clapping along with everyone else. But inside, I felt a mix of pride and resentment. After the play, there were games and activities on the school lawn. Emma was surrounded by friends, all eager to be seen with the school's star. I wandered the grounds, feeling out of place and disconnected. I wanted to join in the fun, but my shyness held me back. As I watched Emma laughing and playing with her friends, I couldn't help but wonder if I would ever feel as confident and accepted as she did. The first feelings of jealousy and resentment began to take root during these formative years. I loved Emma deeply, but I couldn't ignore the constant comparisons and the favoritism that seemed to follow her everywhere. It wasn't just the teachers and family members who favored her, it was everyone. Even our peers seemed to gravitate towards her, leaving me feeling like an afterthought. One Christmas, our family gathered at our grandparents' house. The living room was filled with twinkling lights, and the scent of freshly baked cookies filled the air. As we exchanged gifts, our relatives couldn't help but comment on Emma's appearance. "Emma, you're growing more beautiful every year. You look like a movie star." I received kind but less enthusiastic comments. "Lily, you're looking nice today," they would say, their eyes already drifting back to Emma. That night, as we lay in our shared bedroom at our grandparents' house, I confided in Emma about how I was feeling. "Emma, do you ever get tired of all the attention?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Emma sighed and turned to face me. "Sometimes, Lily. It can be overwhelming. But I'm grateful for it too. You know, you have so many amazing qualities that people notice too. You're smart, creative, and kind. Don't let anyone make you feel less than you are." I appreciated Emma's words, but they didn't fully alleviate my feelings of jealousy and inadequacy. It was hard to feel confident when I was constantly being compared to someone who seemed to have it all. As we progressed through elementary school, there were more events and activities that highlighted the differences between Emma and me. One such event was the annual science fair. Emma and I both participated, and while I worked diligently on my project about the solar system, Emma chose a project about butterflies that showcased her artistic talents. On the day of the science fair, the gymnasium was filled with colorful displays and eager students. Emma's project was beautifully presented, with intricate drawings of butterflies and a detailed explanation of their life cycle. My project, though well-researched, paled in comparison to the visual appeal of Emma's display. When the judges announced the winners, Emma received first place in the artistic category. I received an honorable mention for my research, but it felt like a consolation prize. Our parents were proud of both of us, but the excitement around Emma's win was palpable. "Emma, you did such an amazing job, we're so proud of you," they exclaimed, while my achievement was acknowledged with a simple, "Good job, Lily." I tried to hide my disappointment, but it was difficult. The constant comparisons and the feeling of being overshadowed were taking a toll on my self-esteem. I loved Emma and wanted to be happy for her, but I couldn't ignore the growing sense of resentment and inadequacy. One summer, our family went on a vacation to a lakeside cabin. It was a beautiful, serene place, surrounded by trees and with a clear blue lake perfect for swimming and boating. Emma and I spent our days exploring the woods, swimming in the lake, and roasting marshmallows by the campfire. One afternoon, as we were swimming, a group of kids from a neighboring cabin joined us. Emma, with her outgoing personality, quickly made friends with them. They were captivated by her beauty and charm, and soon they were playing games and splashing around together. I tried to join in, but I felt like an outsider. The kids seemed more interested in Emma, and I found myself drifting to the edge of the group, watching from a distance. That evening, as we sat by the campfire, I couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy. Emma had a way of making friends effortlessly, while I struggled to fit in. It was a feeling that I was becoming all too familiar with, and I didn't know how to deal with it. As we moved through elementary school, the differences between Emma and me continued to shape our experiences. Emma's popularity and ease in making friends stood in stark contrast to my struggles. I found solace in my studies and hobbies, but the social dynamics of school were a constant challenge. One day, during recess, a group of girls invited Emma to join their game of hopscotch. I stood nearby, hoping to be included, but they didn't seem to notice me. Emma, always the kind sister, turned to me and said, "Lily, come play with us." The girls exchanged glances but didn't protest, so I joined in. As we played, it became clear that the girls were more interested in Emma. They complimented her on her hopscotch skills, giggled at her jokes, and vied for her attention. I felt like a background character in my own life, struggling to find my place in a world that seemed to revolve around my sister. By the time we reached 5th grade, the divide between Emma and me had grown wider. Emma was elected class president, a role that suited her outgoing personality and leadership skills. She thrived in the spotlight, organizing events, leading discussions, and earning the admiration of teachers and students alike. I continued to excel in academics, often earning top grades and praise from my teachers. But the recognition I received felt different from the adoration showered on Emma. My achievements were acknowledged with polite applause, while Emma's accomplishments were celebrated with enthusiasm and fanfare. One spring, our school held a field day, a day filled with various athletic events and competitions. Emma, with her natural athleticism and competitive spirit, signed up for multiple events and excelled in each one. She won first place in the relay race, the long jump, and the obstacle course. The crowd cheered her on, and she was awarded a trophy for her outstanding performance. I participated in a few events, but my results were modest in comparison. I placed third in the three-legged race and received a participation ribbon for the tug of war. Our parents congratulated me on my efforts, but their excitement was clearly focused on Emma's achievements. As we walked home that afternoon, Emma carried her trophy with pride, while I clutched my participation ribbon, feeling a mix of pride and frustration. I was happy for Emma, but I couldn't help but feel overshadowed once again. The constant comparisons and the feeling of being in her shadow were taking a toll on my self-esteem, and I didn't know how to break free from the cycle. Despite the challenges and the constant comparisons, there were moments of hope and encouragement. One such moment came from an unlikely source: our art teacher, Mrs. Thompson. She was a kind and perceptive woman who had a talent for seeing the potential in her students. One day after class, Mrs. Thompson asked me to stay behind. "Lily, I've noticed that you have a real talent for drawing," she said, her eyes twinkling with warmth. "Your attention to detail and your ability to capture emotion in your work are truly impressive." I blushed, not used to receiving such direct praise. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson," I replied, feeling a spark of pride. "I think you should consider entering your artwork in the school's art contest," she continued. "You have a gift, and I believe it's worth sharing with others." Encouraged by her words, I decided to take a chance. I spent hours in my room, working on a piece that I hoped would capture the judge's attention. It was a portrait of a girl standing in a field of wildflowers, her expression a mix of wonder and melancholy. I poured my heart into the drawing, determined to create something that would make me proud. When the day of the art contest arrived, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. The school gymnasium was filled with colorful displays, each piece a testament to the talent and creativity of the students. Emma accompanied me, her supportive presence a comfort in the sea of competition. As the judges made their rounds, I watched nervously, hoping that my work would stand out. When the results were announced, I was thrilled to hear my name called for first place in the drawing category. The applause was loud and genuine, and for the first time, I felt like I had truly earned my moment in the spotlight. Emma hugged me tightly, her eyes shining with pride. "I knew you could do it, Lily," she exclaimed. "You're amazing." However, when I came home and wanted to show off my achievement to my parents, I walked into the living room and saw Emma already basking in their praise. She had just returned from a photo shoot for a local magazine, and our parents were beaming with pride as she described the experience in animated detail. "And then the photographer said I had the perfect look for their cover," Emma exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. My parents' faces lit up with admiration. "That's amazing, Emma. We're so proud of you," my mother said, giving her a tight hug. My heart sank as I watched the scene unfold. Clutching my certificate and ribbon, I felt my earlier excitement deflate. I wanted to share my success, to feel the same pride and joy from my parents, but the timing seemed all wrong. Not wanting to interrupt Emma's moment, I quietly slipped into my room and gently placed the certificate and ribbon in a drawer. Sitting on my bed, I stared at the drawer, feeling a mix of disappointment and frustration. It wasn't that I begrudged Emma her achievements. I just wished that, for once, I could have a moment where I felt truly seen and celebrated. Later that evening, as I sat at the dinner table, my parents continued to talk about Emma's photo shoot. I listened silently, trying to push away the feelings of resentment that were bubbling up inside me. When there was finally a lull in the conversation, I mustered the courage to speak up. "Mom, Dad, I won first place in the art contest today," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. They turned to look at me, their expressions shifting from excitement to polite interest. "That's wonderful, Lily," my father said with a smile. "Congratulations." "Yes, we're very proud of you, sweetheart," my mother added. But their enthusiasm didn't match the excitement they had shown for Emma's news. The conversation quickly shifted back to Emma's photo shoot, leaving me feeling once again overshadowed. As I cleared the dinner table that night, I thought about Mrs. Thompson's encouraging words and the applause I had received at the art contest. Despite my parents' subdued reaction, I reminded myself that my achievement was important and valuable. I had worked hard and earned my success, and I needed to hold on to that sense of pride, even if it wasn't fully recognized at home. In the quiet of my room, I took out the certificate and ribbon again, placing them on my desk where I could see them. They were a reminder of my talent and my potential, a beacon of hope in the midst of my struggle to find my place in a world that often seemed to favor my sister. As I lay in bed that night, I vowed to keep pursuing my passions and to celebrate my own victories, no matter how small they might seem to others. Middle school was a time of significant change for both Emma and me. As we transitioned from childhood to adolescence, the differences between us became even more pronounced. Puberty brought with it a host of physical and emotional changes, and Emma's beauty seemed to blossom overnight. She grew taller, her figure became more defined, and her golden hair and striking blue eyes only became more captivating. It was as if she had stepped out of a magazine, effortlessly embodying the ideal of beauty. With her blossoming beauty came increased attention from boys. Emma was constantly surrounded by admirers, her locker decorated with love notes and flowers. She received invitations to dances, parties, and other social events, becoming a fixture in the middle school social scene. It was clear that Emma enjoyed the attention, and she navigated these new social dynamics with the same ease and charm that had always defined her. I, on the other hand, experienced puberty in a more subdued way. My growth spurt was less dramatic, and my appearance remained relatively unchanged. My curly brown hair and hazel eyes were considered cute, rather than stunning, and I was often overlooked in favor of my sister's striking beauty. I was quieter, more reserved, and focused on my academics and hobbies. While Emma thrived in the social spotlight, I found solace in my studies and my artwork. As Emma's popularity grew, so did her involvement in modeling and beauty pageants. She was scouted by a local modeling agency and began participating in photo shoots and competitions. Our parents were thrilled and supportive, attending every event and cheering her on from the sidelines. Emma's room quickly filled with trophies, sashes, and framed photos from her modeling gigs. She was becoming a local celebrity, and our parents couldn't have been prouder. As high school came to an end, Emma and I found ourselves at a crossroads. Emma had decided to fully pursue her modeling and acting career, a path that had always seemed destined for her. With her undeniable beauty and charisma, she had already made significant strides in the industry. Offers from modeling agencies and casting directors came pouring in, and soon, she was traveling across the country for various gigs and auditions. Our parents were immensely proud of her achievements and supported her every step of the way. I, on the other hand, had chosen a different path. My passion for art and literature had only grown stronger over the years, and I decided to attend a liberal arts college that offered excellent programs in both fields. While Emma's world was filled with glitz and glamour, mine was more subdued but equally fulfilling. I looked forward to immersing myself in my studies, exploring new ideas, and honing my creative skills. The first day of college was a mix of excitement and nervousness. The campus was buzzing with energy as students moved into their dorms and attended orientation events. I felt a sense of independence and freedom that I hadn't experienced before. My dorm room was small but cozy, decorated with posters of famous paintings and stacks of books. It was my own little sanctuary where I could escape into my world of creativity. College life was a transformative experience for me. I quickly immersed myself in my classes, eager to learn and grow. The professors were passionate and knowledgeable, and I found myself inspired by their teachings. My art classes allowed me to experiment with different mediums and techniques, while my literature courses opened my mind to new perspectives and ideas. I also developed close friendships with my fellow students. We bonded over late-night study sessions, shared interests, and the ups and downs of college life. My roommate Sarah was a kind and supportive friend who shared my love for art. We often spent hours in the art studio, working on our projects and discussing our dreams and aspirations. One of the most significant aspects of my college experience was meeting Mark. We met during our sophomore year in a creative writing class. Mark was an English major with a passion for poetry and storytelling. He had a quiet, introspective demeanor that drew me in, and we quickly became friends. Our friendship blossomed into a romantic relationship, and soon, we were inseparable. Mark was a constant source of support and encouragement. He appreciated my artistic talents and often attended my gallery showings and readings. We spent countless hours discussing literature, art, and our future aspirations. Mark's gentle nature and thoughtful insights helped me gain confidence in myself and my abilities. Our relationship continued to grow, and I found myself falling deeply in love with him. Mark's presence in my life was a calming influence, and he helped me navigate the challenges of college with grace and resilience. With him by my side, I felt more confident and capable than ever before. While my college years were filled with personal growth and new experiences, my relationship with Emma became more strained. Her modeling and acting career had taken off, and she was living a glamorous life that seemed worlds apart from mine. Emma's success brought her fame and recognition, and she often appeared in magazines and on television. She attended red carpet events, mingled with celebrities, and traveled to exotic locations for photo shoots. Despite our different paths, Emma and I stayed in touch. She would occasionally visit me at college, bringing with her a whirlwind of excitement and glamour. During her visits, she would regale me with stories of her adventures, describing the luxurious parties, the famous people she had met, and the exciting projects she was working on. While I was genuinely happy for her, these visits also brought up old insecurities for me. One particular visit stands out in my memory. Emma had just returned from a photo shoot in Paris, and she decided to surprise me with a visit. She arrived on campus in a sleek car, dressed in designer clothes and carrying a suitcase full of gifts. As we walked through the campus, students turned their heads to look at her, captivated by her beauty and presence. "Paris was incredible, Lily," she said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "The Eiffel Tower, the fashion shows, the food, everything was just perfect. And guess what? I met a famous director who wants to cast me in his next film." "That's amazing, Emma," I replied, trying to sound enthusiastic. "I'm really happy for you." As we continued our walk, Emma's stories of her glamorous life filled the air. I couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy and inadequacy. While Emma was living a life of excitement and adventure, I was focused on my studies and navigating the challenges of college. It was hard not to compare our lives and feel like I was falling short. That evening, as we sat in my dorm room, Emma noticed the stack of books and art supplies on my desk. "You always were the creative one, Lily," she said with a smile. "I wish I had your talent for art." I appreciated her compliment, but it didn't fully alleviate my feelings of insecurity. Despite my achievements and the personal growth I had experienced in college, I still struggled with the constant comparisons to Emma. It was a lingering shadow that I couldn't quite escape. As the years went by, I continued to focus on my studies and my relationship with Mark. I knew that I needed to find my own identity and create a life that was true to myself. College was an opportunity for me to explore my passions and develop my skills, and I was determined to make the most of it. One of the most rewarding experiences of my college years was participating in a study abroad program. I spent a semester in Italy, immersing myself in the rich culture and history of the country. The experience was transformative, allowing me to gain new perspectives and deepen my understanding of art and literature. I visited famous museums, studied the works of Renaissance masters, and filled my sketchbook with drawings of the beautiful landscapes and architecture. Italy also provided a sense of independence and self-discovery. Away from the familiar environment of home and college, I had the opportunity to reflect on my life and my aspirations. I realized that I didn't need to compare myself to Emma or anyone else. My worth wasn't defined by external validation or recognition, but by my own efforts and passions. When I returned from Italy, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. I threw myself into my final year of college, determined to make the most of my remaining time. I completed my senior thesis, a collection of paintings and essays that explored the intersection of art and literature. The project was a culmination of my years of study and personal growth, and it received high praise from my professors. As graduation approached, Emma decided to visit me once again. She had just finished filming her first major movie and was excited to share the news with me. Her arrival brought a mix of emotions, happiness to see my sister, but also a sense of dread about the inevitable comparisons. Emma arrived on campus with her usual flair, instantly attracting attention wherever she went. Her presence was magnetic, drawing eyes and admiration as she moved through the crowd with grace and confidence. We spent the day catching up, and she shared vibrant stories of her experiences on set, the interesting people she had met, and the exciting opportunities that lay ahead. I listened intently, a mix of admiration and envy swirling within me, struggling to reconcile my complex feelings. That evening, we attended a small gathering with some of my friends. The atmosphere was lively, filled with chatter and laughter. As we mingled, I couldn't help but notice the way people gravitated towards Emma, captivated by her effortless charm and stunning beauty. She seemed to shine even brighter in social settings, her laughter infectious and her stories enthralling everyone around her. Despite the twinge of jealousy I felt, I found comfort in having Mark by my side. His presence grounded me, offering a reassuring contrast to Emma's dazzling allure. As the night wore on, I appreciated Mark's steady support, his quiet strength providing a sense of stability amidst the whirlwind of Emma's charisma. From the moment I met Mark, our relationship felt like something out of a beautifully written novel. We met during our sophomore year in a creative writing class, and it didn't take long for me to be drawn to his quiet, introspective nature. Mark had a passion for poetry and storytelling, and his gentle demeanor and thoughtful insights quickly captured my heart. Our friendship began with long conversations after class. We would sit in the campus cafe sipping on coffee and discussing our favorite books, authors, and the themes that resonated most with us. Mark's love for poetry was evident in the way he spoke, his words carefully chosen and imbued with a depth of meaning. I found myself looking forward to these moments, cherishing the time we spent together. One crisp autumn afternoon, Mark invited me to a poetry reading at a local bookstore. The intimate setting, with its dim lighting and the faint scent of old books, created a cozy atmosphere. As we listened to the poets recite their works, I felt a sense of connection and understanding with Mark that I had never experienced before. After the reading, we walked through the city streets, the leaves crunching under our feet, and talked about our dreams and aspirations. It was during this walk that Mark shyly admitted his feelings for me, and I realized that I felt the same way. Our relationship blossomed from there. Mark's presence in my life was a calming influence, and he helped me navigate the challenges of college with grace and resilience. We spent countless hours together, studying, attending art exhibits, and exploring the city. Mark's support and encouragement were unwavering, and he often attended my gallery showings and readings, always the first to offer a kind word or a thoughtful critique. One of my favorite memories from those early days was a spontaneous road trip we took during spring break. We decided to visit a small coastal town known for its picturesque beaches and vibrant art scene. The drive was filled with laughter and music, as we sang along to our favorite songs and shared stories from our childhoods. When we arrived, we spent our days wandering through art galleries, collecting seashells on the beach, and watching the sunset over the ocean. In the evenings, we would sit on the balcony of our little beach cottage, wrapped in blankets, and talk for hours under the stars. It was during this trip that I realized just how deeply I had fallen in love with Mark. Mark had a way of making me feel truly seen and appreciated. He valued my creativity and intelligence, and he often reminded me of my worth, especially during moments of self-doubt. His love was a steady, unwavering force that gave me the confidence to pursue my passions and believe in myself. With him by my side, I felt empowered to take risks and embrace new opportunities. Our relationship wasn't without its challenges, of course. There were times when the pressures of school and our individual ambitions created tension, but we always managed to find our way back to each other. Communication was key, and Mark's patient, understanding nature made it easier for us to navigate any obstacles that came our way. We learned to support each other's dreams and celebrate each other's successes, knowing that our love was strong enough to withstand any difficulties. One particularly challenging period came during our senior year, when I was working on my senior thesis, a collection of paintings and essays exploring the intersection of art and literature. The project was incredibly demanding, and there were times when I felt overwhelmed and unsure of myself. Mark was my rock during this time, offering a listening ear, words of encouragement, and practical support. He would bring me coffee during late-night work sessions, help me organize my thoughts, and remind me to take breaks and care for myself. His unwavering belief in me gave me the strength to persevere and complete the project. As I graduated, Mark and I began to discuss our future together. We knew that the transition from college to the real world would bring new challenges, but we were committed to facing them together. Mark had been accepted into a prestigious graduate program for creative writing, and I had been offered a position as an art instructor at a local community center. We were excited about the opportunities ahead, and the chance to continue growing both individually and as a couple. Our love deepened as we navigated the post-college world. We moved into a small apartment together, filling it with books, art supplies, and the memories we had collected over the years. We continued to support each other's passions. Mark attended my art exhibits, and I went to his poetry readings. Our shared love for creativity and storytelling was a constant source of inspiration and connection. One of the most memorable moments of our post-college life was a surprise trip that Mark planned for our anniversary. He had arranged for us to visit a secluded cabin in the mountains, a place where we could escape the hustle and bustle of city life and reconnect with nature. The cabin was nestled in a lush forest, with a clear babbling brook nearby and a stunning view of the mountains. We spent our days hiking through the woods, exploring hidden trails, and marveling at the beauty of the natural world. In the evenings, we would sit by the fireplace, sipping hot cocoa and sharing our hopes and dreams for the future. It was during this trip that Mark proposed, presenting me with a simple, elegant ring that he had designed himself. His proposal was heartfelt and sincere, a reflection of the deep love and commitment we shared. I joyfully accepted, and we spent the rest of the evening celebrating our engagement under the stars. Our journey towards self-acceptance and confidence in our careers continued to evolve. I found immense fulfillment in my role as an art instructor, helping students discover their own creative potential. Mark's graduate program challenged him to refine his craft, and he began to gain recognition for his poetry. We faced new challenges and uncertainties, but our love remained a constant, guiding us through every twist and turn. My journey towards self-acceptance and confidence in my career was deeply intertwined with my relationship with Mark. His unwavering support and belief in me were instrumental in helping me overcome the insecurities that had plagued me for so long. One of the most significant steps in my journey was the decision to pursue a master's degree in art therapy. Combining my love for art with a desire to help others, I found a sense of purpose and fulfillment that was profoundly rewarding. The program was rigorous, but it allowed me to explore new dimensions of my creativity and develop a deeper understanding of the therapeutic power of art. Throughout my studies, Mark was my biggest cheerleader. He celebrated my successes and provided comfort during moments of doubt. His encouragement gave me the confidence to push myself and take risks, knowing that he believed in my abilities even when I struggled to believe in myself. My first internship as an art therapist was both challenging and transformative. I worked with a diverse group of clients, each with their own unique stories and struggles. Through my work, I witnessed the incredible impact that art could have on individuals' emotional and mental well-being. It was a humbling and inspiring experience that reinforced my commitment to this field. One particularly memorable client was a young girl named Mia, who had experienced significant trauma and struggled with severe anxiety. Through our sessions, Mia began to express her feelings and experiences through her artwork. Watching her transformation and growth was deeply moving, and it affirmed my belief in the power of art therapy. Mia's progress also mirrored my own journey toward self-acceptance, as I learned to trust in my skills and embrace my role as a therapist. My confidence continued to grow as I completed my degree and began working as a full-time art therapist. I developed strong relationships with my clients and colleagues, and I found immense satisfaction in helping others heal and find their own paths to self-acceptance. My work was challenging, but it was also incredibly rewarding, and I felt a deep sense of fulfillment in my career. Throughout this journey, Mark remained a steadfast presence in my life. We continued to support each other's dreams and aspirations, celebrating our individual successes and navigating challenges together. Our relationship was built on a foundation of love, trust, and mutual respect, and it only grew stronger with time. As I reflected on my journey, I realized that my path to self-acceptance and confidence was not just about achieving external success. It was about embracing my unique talents and passions, believing in my worth, and finding joy in the process. With Mark's love and support, I had learned to see myself through a lens of compassion and self-respect, and it was a lesson that would stay with me for the rest of my life. The days of love between Mark and me were a beautiful tapestry of shared experiences, challenges, and triumphs. Our relationship was a source of strength and inspiration, guiding us through the complexities of life and helping us grow both individually and as a couple. As I looked towards the future, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the love we shared and the journey we had embarked on together. With Mark by my side, I knew that I could face any challenge and continue to pursue my dreams with confidence and resilience. The day of the outing with Mark and his friends had arrived, and I was filled with a mix of excitement and nervousness. This was a significant moment for us, as we planned to reveal the exciting news of our upcoming marriage to his close-knit group. Mark had organized a small gathering at a charming lakeside cabin, a picturesque location perfect for such an announcement. The cabin was nestled among tall pine trees, with a serene view of the lake that shimmered under the late afternoon sun. As we drove to the cabin, Mark and I chatted about the details of our wedding plans, our excitement palpable. He reached over and squeezed my hand, his eyes filled with love and anticipation. "This is going to be great, Lily. They're going to be so happy for us," he said reassuringly. When we arrived, we were greeted by the warm smiles and friendly banter of Mark's friends. It was my first time meeting most of them, and I was eager to make a good impression. We settled into the cozy living area, which was decorated with rustic furniture and adorned with fairy lights that added a magical touch to the evening. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere grew livelier. We enjoyed a delicious dinner, prepared by Mark's friend Alex, who was an excellent cook. The table was filled with an array of dishes, from grilled vegetables to succulent steaks, and the conversation flowed easily. There was a sense of camaraderie and warmth that made me feel welcome, despite my initial nerves. After dinner, we moved to the spacious deck overlooking the lake. The sun had begun to set, casting a golden glow over the water. Mark and I exchanged a glance, knowing it was the perfect moment to share our news. He stood up, drawing everyone's attention. "Hey everyone, can I have your attention for a moment?" Mark began, his voice filled with excitement. "Lily and I have some news we'd like to share with you all." The group quieted down, all eyes on us. I felt a rush of anticipation as Mark continued. "We're getting married," he announced, his face lighting up with joy. There was a moment of stunned silence, followed by a chorus of cheers and applause. His friends rushed to congratulate us, and I felt a warm sense of acceptance and happiness. We toasted to our future, clinking glasses of champagne and exchanging hugs. As the celebration continued, everyone settled back into their seats, drinks in hand. The conversation turned to lighter topics, and we began to share stories and laugh. At some point, the topic of siblings came up, and one of Mark's friends, Jenna, asked me about my family. "So Lily, do you have any siblings?" she inquired, her tone genuinely curious. "Yes, I have an older sister Emma," I replied, smiling. "She's a model and actress." The mention of Emma seemed to pique everyone's interest. "Wow, a model and actress. That's impressive," Jenna remarked. It was at this moment that Mark, who had been enjoying a few drinks, chimed in loudly. "If you guys think Lily is pretty, you should see her sister," he exclaimed, a broad grin on his face. He then pulled out his phone and began scrolling through Emma's Instagram, showing photos to everyone at the table. The reaction was immediate and predictable. They were all in awe, commenting on how stunning she looked. "She's gorgeous. Wow, she could be a supermodel." No wonder she's in the industry. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach, my heart sinking. The evening, which had started so beautifully, now felt tainted. Mark's comment and the subsequent admiration for Emma's photos made me feel small and insignificant. I forced a smile, trying to hide my discomfort, but inside, I was reeling. As the night continued, I couldn't shake the feeling of humiliation that washed over me. Mark's words echoed in my mind, a harsh reminder of the insecurities I had battled for so long. The constant comparisons to Emma, the feeling of being overshadowed, it all came rushing back in that moment. I tried to engage in the conversation, but my mind was elsewhere. I felt a growing sense of resentment and hurt. It wasn't just about the comment itself, but the realization that even my own boyfriend seemed to find Emma more attractive than me. It was a painful confirmation of my deepest fears. Mark, seemingly oblivious to my distress, continued to laugh and chat with his friends. I watched him, feeling a mixture of anger and sadness. How could he not see how much his comment had hurt me? How could he not understand the weight of his words? Eventually, I excused myself and went inside, needing a moment to collect my thoughts. I stood in the kitchen, staring out the window at the darkening lake, feeling tears prick at the corners of my eyes. The evening, which was supposed to be a joyous celebration, had turned into a painful reminder of my insecurities and the constant comparisons I couldn't escape. When the gathering finally wound down and Mark and I headed to bed, the silence between us was heavy. As we lay in the darkness, I couldn't hold back any longer. "Mark," I began, my voice trembling. "Why did you say that about Emma tonight?" He turned to face me, confusion written across his face. "What do you mean?" "You said if everyone thinks I'm pretty they should see my sister," I explained, my voice breaking. "Then you showed them her photos. Do you have any idea how that made me feel?" Realization dawned on his face, and he reached out to take my hand. "Lily, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that." "But that's how it felt," I said, pulling my hand away. "It felt like you were saying she's more beautiful than me, like I'm not enough. And in front of all your friends. It was humiliating." Mark's expression softened, and he looked genuinely remorseful. "I didn't think about it that way. I was just trying to show them how amazing your family is. I'm really sorry, Lily. You know I love you and think you're beautiful." His words, though sincere, did little to ease the pain. The damage had been done, and I couldn't simply brush it off. "It's not just about tonight," I said quietly. "It's about always being compared to Emma. I thought you understood how hard that is for me." "I do understand," Mark insisted. "I was just being stupid and careless. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to hurt you." I wanted to believe him, to let go of the hurt and move on, but the comment had struck a deep nerve. It wasn't something I could easily forget. "I need some time," I said finally. "I need to process this." Mark nodded, his eyes filled with regret. "Take all the time you need, Lily. I'll be here when you're ready to talk." The days following the outing were difficult. The comment replayed in my mind, a constant reminder of my insecurities. I found myself avoiding social media, not wanting to see Emma's photos and the flood of admiration they always garnered. I distanced myself from Mark, needing space to sort through my feelings. Mark tried to make amends in various ways, leaving me sweet notes, planning thoughtful gestures, and repeatedly apologizing. While I appreciated his efforts, the wound was still fresh, and I struggled to move past it. I confided in my close friends, seeking their perspective and support. They were understanding and empathetic, reassuring me of my worth and beauty. "Lily, you're an incredible person," Sarah, my best friend, said one afternoon over coffee. "Mark loves you for who you are. He made a mistake, but that doesn't change how amazing you are." Their words were comforting, but the internal struggle remained. I can't escape the constant comparisons to her, and I don't think I ever will. It's exhausting. How do I overcome these insecurities? Additionally, as I reflected on my journey and the experiences that had shaped my relationship with Mark, I found myself drawn to the comments and perspectives shared by others who had heard my story. These insights, coming from an external point of view, provided a fresh lens through which I could see my situation more clearly. It was as if they were holding up a mirror, allowing me to confront the realities I had been avoiding. Here are some of those reflections. One commenter noted, 36 is too old for that kind of foot-and-mouth syndrome with a partner, even if alcohol is involved. Not only is he too old to not know better, but it's not even a foot-and-mouth situation. He didn't just casually acknowledge that OP's sister was beautiful, he basically insulted his girlfriend and proceeded to show off her sister to his friends for their approval. If this is the way he acts in front of his girlfriend, one can only imagine what he acts like behind her back. This comment hit me hard. It underscored the gravity of Mark's actions and made me realize that his behavior was not just a careless mistake. It was a deeper issue of respect and understanding. At his age, Mark should have known better than to make such a hurtful comment, especially in a public setting. Another commenter wrote, "Now you know that even if he didn't mean it like that, he certainly meant it enough to publicly show off your sister to impress his friends. Imagine what the future will be like with this guy. Hey everybody, come check out this gorgeous woman I know. No, not my wife, her sister." He actually pulled out his phone to show off another woman at a meeting where he was introducing his girlfriend. This one isn't the one, OP. I can assure you the right one around the corner will be mortified when you tell him this story. This perspective made me envision a future filled with similar humiliations. The idea that Mark would prioritize impressing his friends over respecting my feelings was a sobering thought. It made me question whether I wanted to spend my life with someone who might continue to undermine my self-esteem. A third commenter shared their personal experience. Leave him. I have a beautiful sister also. She is stunning, and I am not. I am cute also. But my husband finds me beautiful and doesn't see the beauty of my sister. He has never compared me to her and never stared at her. He honestly doesn't get the hype of her, but tells me constantly how beautiful I am. You need to find a man like that. There is someone out there who will find you more beautiful than your sister. But it isn't the one you're with now. Leave him and find someone better. This heartfelt advice resonated deeply with me. It gave me hope that there was someone out there who would truly appreciate me for who I am, without making hurtful comparisons. The idea of being with someone who saw my unique beauty and valued me above all others was incredibly comforting. These comments and reflections were eye-opening. They forced me to confront some difficult truths about my relationship with Mark. While his efforts to apologize and make amends were sincere, the underlying issues of respect and understanding remained unresolved. It became clear that I needed to reevaluate what I wanted and deserved in a relationship. The story narrates a journey fraught with insecurities, emotional turmoil, and ultimately, self-discovery. At its core lies a poignant lesson about the importance of self-acceptance and recognizing one's intrinsic worth. The protagonist, Lily, grapples with a lifetime of comparison to her stunning sister Emma. From childhood to adulthood, she feels overshadowed by Emma's beauty, leading to deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. However, as the story unfolds, Lily embarks on a journey of self-exploration and growth, guided by the support of her friends and the insights gained through therapy. Central to the narrative is the impact of external validation on one's sense of self-worth. Lily's experiences with Mark, her boyfriend, highlight the profound effect that thoughtless comments can have on a person's confidence. Mark's ill-considered remark about Emma during a social outing triggers a cascade of emotions in Lily, underscoring the fragility of her self-esteem. The incident serves as a catalyst for reflection, prompting Lily to confront her insecurities and reevaluate her relationship with Mark. Through Lily's journey, the story underscores the importance of mutual respect and empathy in relationships. Mark's failure to consider the implications of his words demonstrates a lack of sensitivity and understanding towards Lily's feelings. This serves as a poignant reminder that respect is not just about avoiding deliberate acts of harm, but also about acknowledging and honoring a partner's vulnerabilities. Lily's decision to address the issue directly with Mark underscores the significance of open communication in fostering healthy relationships. Moreover, the story highlights the transformative power of self-awareness and personal growth. Lily's journey towards self-acceptance is not without its challenges, but it is through confronting her insecurities head-on that she begins to reclaim her sense of self-worth. With the support of her friends, Lily learns to embrace her individuality and celebrate her unique qualities. The narrative also underscores the importance of surrounding oneself with a supportive network of friends and loved ones. Lily's friends serve as a source of strength and encouragement, offering empathy and understanding during her moments of vulnerability. Their unwavering support empowers Lily to confront her insecurities and make decisions that prioritize her emotional well-being. This emphasizes the transformative power of human connection in overcoming personal challenges and fostering resilience. Ultimately, the story culminates in a powerful realization about the necessity of setting boundaries and prioritizing self-care. Lily's decision to end her relationship with Mark symbolizes a turning point in her journey towards self-empowerment. In conclusion, the story encapsulates a profound lesson about the importance of self-acceptance, respect in relationships, open communication, the support of loved ones, and the necessity of setting boundaries. Through Lily's journey, we are reminded of the transformative power of introspection, empathy, and human connection in navigating life's challenges and embracing our true selves. It is through confronting our insecurities with courage and compassion that we can ultimately find the strength to live authentically and pursue happiness on our own terms. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.